One, two, get down. Get down. Two, one, two, get down.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome back to the channel, and here we talk about any and everything photography. Today's topic is passing down the art of photography and the love for this artistic expression that we all share. I guess this conversation, this concept really came out of a conversation I was having with a friend, and what do I think is the everlasting effect of photography and how to keep it going? Is there ever a time when it won't be a thing? And it's a fair question on his part, but there's so many pieces to that puzzle, and for me, the piece I honed in on was how we passed it down to the generations. And I don't particularly feel like the art is in danger or ever will be in danger, to be honest with you, because we are visual creatures, human beings. So we'll always share an affinity for a moment of time captured, a moment of greatness, sadness, love, hatred, all of that. We'll always share that affinity. So I think the art of photography will be fine throughout the generations. The tools, however, the tools are another thing. The tools are always evolving, right? And some of us are standing in front of trains trying to stop progress, and some of us are just on that train. And it really depends on where you are. But I think, generally speaking, I do enjoy the tools we use today. I do enjoy cameras. I own a shit ton of them, and I like the tinkering. I like the dance with the exposure triangle and the dials and all of this. But there's something I had to do a lot of thinking about where that affection for the manual or physical process of this came from. And I remember when I was really getting into my photography journey, like many of you start to binge watch content and documentaries from all of the greats and the well-known in the industry. And one of the things I would always notice about people in these documentaries is the very first question would be, how did you get into photography, right? And they would always say, yeah, well, my dad or my mom was a this or was a that, and he or she would be always in the dark room, in the basement, blah, blah, blah. So for me, it was evident that these people were surrounded by this. They were almost like unwillingly influenced to pick up a camera. It was always in their environment. It was in their childhood. It was in their memories, right? And I thought that was super dope. And I really never equated it kind of the same for me. I felt like I just stumbled into photography and was like, okay, let's go. But looking back, I mean, it was very, very easy for me to remember, holy shit, I was like that as well. I mean, my mom always bought, like, I always had a camera. I'll never forget that from like the age of 5. She always bought a camera for me, and she would have 2 cameras. And it would be, she loved cameras. Did she use them much? Not really, but she just loved cameras, right? And I remember we would always, I grew up in Barbados, and we would always go to town, and in the mall, there's like the camera section, and every like few years, she would buy one for herself, and she would buy one for me. And then when we get dressed to go out, to hang out on the weekends, she would make sure that my camera had batteries and the film was in there, and then she had hers, and it was just like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And like self-consciously, she was catapulting me into this world. And here I am, that kind of fell off as I became a preteen and then a teen. And, of course, all I care about was the PlayStation and the Xbox. But here I am as a grown-ass man many years later, and I circled back. Unconsciously, I circled back. And I think it's such a dope thing. And I look forward to when I have kids that there's gonna be just cameras all over the place, and I'm gonna choose to stick a camera in their face versus sticking a smartphone in their face, right? And I think that's gonna make the difference in carrying on this lineage of affinity for cameras and the physical thing that creates moments in time. And I'm not fighting the smartphone, and that's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is I want to recognize that there was a small piece of me that was influenced from young to really enjoy what I enjoy now, and I want to pass that on. And I think it's important for us to remember these things, right? And to keep this up front. I see all these conversations about the camera industry is dying, and I'm not really debating that. Sales are down, and it's looking bleak. Are they dying though? I'm not sure. But with the incoming onslaught of the smartphone and how rapidly smartphones are improving in terms of photography performance using computational tactics and whatnot, it's hard to say. I mean, at some point, I do expect the smartphone to be the better choice when approaching the conversation of how do I get the image I want. I don't doubt that smartphones will get there, but I think it's super important to continue to bask in the enjoyment of the camera. And as long as we pass that down to our kids and we share it with everyone in our circle, I don't think the camera industry will go anywhere. Will it get smaller? Sure, as it becomes more and more niche. But I think we could be in a world where the camera industry is gonna force to play catch up with the computational photography game, which in turn means better cameras, and maybe we'll pay the price for that. Maybe it'll become more niche and more expensive, but the product we get is overall better and we can continue to enjoy. I don't know where this will go, but I thought it was a Sunday afternoon thought on how I was essentially unconsciously conditioned to become a lover of cameras, and that was a great segue into understanding photography, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And my guess is I want you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. My guess is a number of us will share this in common. A number of us can say, oh yeah, that's right, my dad always had a old school Canon or Nikon or blah blah blah. And I've got a number of friends who want to get into photography, but they can't for one reason or another. But they also share that, yeah, I always thought photography was dope because my dad had a Nikon, and the images are dope, and I can pull some out of the sneaker box and show you. Like, I think we can all relate to that, and I would love for us all to hone in on that, because it really keeps our industry alive and it really drives the community. So, thank you for checking out the video. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got plenty more content coming. My name is Ramon, and I'm out of here.
Get down.